Hello and welcome back. You got Nate with Long Range X. Two issues that we have today in this video that are massive issues is one, my wife's kitten broke my camera stand. That's why we're all boxed up over here all weird, is because I got you propped up on some boxes of ammo. The other issue is I got a horrible receding hairline I didn't want to look at the whole time we were making a video, so I'm wearing my hunting cap because I forgot to take my ball cap down here. So we're going to excuse those two problems and get on to the video. Something that's over discussed, or that I feel is over pressured, is what the best elk rifle is, or best big game rifle is. And I hear a lot of people stress, I had a 300 Weatherby and I didn't like it. Or, I had a 7 mag once and it just didn't work for me. The problem is we put so much pressure on what cartridge you're using, and I don't think there's a fine line between the cartridge not working for you, or was the rifle not set up for you. Was your length of pull wrong? Was your eye relief on your scope wrong? What about the rifle didn't work for you? And I see a lot of guys at the range anymore, they'll tuck up to their rifle and they'll swim to find the scope, or they'll tuck up to their rifle and their head will be way back here and the scope will be trying to get the right eye relief. And you see that a lot anymore. Literally in the last week, I've had 8 or 9 people ask me or tell me, like the birth of the new 7mm PRC. I've had 2 or 3 people tell me, well, I think that's going to be the right one for me. The 7mm or the 28 Nosler just didn't quite work for me, but I think that's it. Well, I got bad news for you. If the 7mm didn't work for you and the 28 Nosler didn't work for you, the 7mm PRC ain't going to be no different. So, been trying to nicely ask new hunters, new shooters, people that are just getting into it, does the rifle fit you? Because hands down, realistically, I don't need no comment warriors, but hands down, doesn't matter what cartridge you're using, whether it's a 6.5 PRC, a 270, a 7 mag, a 300 Ultra Mag, doesn't matter. If it's not kicking the snot out of you, and you can actually group with it, and the rifle fits you, you're going to be way more secure behind that rifle when the moment of truth comes and you have a shot of a lifetime. So, for example, we're just going to throw an example out there. If I have a 6.5 Creedmoor that fits me perfect and I can drive tax with it, I can shoot a quarter at 100 yards every time that gun goes off, and I have a 300 Win Mag that has a muzzle brake, top of the line, state of the art, night force, everything, but the gun does not fit me because, let's say the stock has a Monte Carlo stock or something I'm not used to and it doesn't fit me, then it doesn't matter because I'm never going to shoot it as successful as the other one. That stated, it could be flippy floppy. If the 6.5 Creed don't fit me and that one fits me amazing, I'm beating my head against the wall fighting with that Creedmoor to make it be what I want it to be. My best advice to anybody, forget about brand names, forget about actions, forget about barrels, forget about it all, okay? Go to a gun store that has a bunch of rifles, like where I'm at, Scheels or Cabela's is the best hit. And pick up 15, 20 different hunting rifles, all makes, models, A big issue that I have guys say is, well, I have a buddy and he hates Savage. Savage is awful. We hate Savage. I have a buddy and he just hates Savage. So that guy goes to the gun store and they say, you should see this new Savage. It feels great. And they say, no, I don't want a Savage. You might not, but pick it up, play with it, see if it fits you. And that might be the stock formation that you're looking for, you know. It might set your head perfectly. It might feel great. And that's not bad mouthing Savage. That's just an example. So you got to take and pick what works for you. You get a scope that works for you. Good eye relief. Nothing against the scope. Nothing against the scope. But I've had a couple different scopes, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I've had a couple different scopes where when I pull them up, eye relief for magnification is just wonky. And if I was sitting at the bench shooting 24/7 with that rifle, and I put them on my bench rifles, it'd be perfect. It'd be a great scope. No turning back. But when you're in the field and you're trying to hunt with that, and your head's going like this, and you're not perfectly on a bench every time, and you're in different positions, you don't know whether you're leaned up against a tree or prone or sitting or kneeling or how you're going to be when you fire. You want a scope that matches that hunting rifle. I seen a guy the other day at the range. I was at the range with him, and his scope was set way far forward. Way far forward. And what it was is he had a 20 MOA rail with another lifted weird scope ring base steel for an AR on top of his bolt gun. So he's got his head sitting way down here trying to get eye relief on the stock, and he's telling me, I just don't like this rifle, it just don't work for me. And I believe it was a 6.5 PRC. And he's telling me it just doesn't work for me. Well, I'm sure that the gun salesman of that day at the store was more than helpful to set that up for him, because he told me that he didn't set it up. So the kid that knows less about guns than most of our shooters, that was behind the counter making $11 an hour, was very happy to help set that up for him and get him going. And pretty sure it looked cool, except you'd see it on a video game. But realistically, and I talked to him about this, if you took that same gun, put some low profile rings on it, brought it down so he could shoot realistically, and he wouldn't have his neck and his head and everything at acute angles, obtuse angles, I guess it'd be, but realistically, that gun would probably work great for him. But that kid there, he was probably 24, and he's not going to take my advice. He's going to, I would bet money, he blames that on caliber or the gun, and he sells that and buys something else. I would bet you that gun goes down the road and he just gets something else because that one's not working for him. Instead of putting the proper bases on it and getting it down to where everything was perfect, he'll sit there and change or panic or change guns, change caliber, whatever. And that's the bigger issue that we're getting into past caliber. Caliber is, I can talk to my gunsmith tomorrow and have any caliber made that I can think of or dream of. I can have it in a rifle that fits me tomorrow morning. So caliber is not something I worry about stressing in hunting rifles. Everybody stresses, well, what caliber? The best caliber rifle is the one that fits you correctly, you know? Now, I'm not saying if you go into a gun store and they have a 243 that fits you great, take it moose hunting. But I am saying if you go into a gun store and they have a 243 that fits you great, ask to see a 6.5 Creed or a 6.5 PRC, and step it up to the deer, elk, whatever you're happening to hunt. Play with a couple different ones, see what rifle fits you. If they put the scope and the rings and the base and everything on at the gun store and it doesn't fit you, ask them to change eye relief. Ask them to set that scope to you. And that's a large problem that we're going to have. People go to the gun store, they say, oh, we'll mount that and bore sight it for you. And you walk off and go do your shopping and you're excited to have a new rifle, and they mount it and bore sight it for them. Not the bore sighting, but they mount that scope, eye relief, for them when they're just looking down it. 90% of them don't say, stay here while we do this, because I want you to look through it. I'm gonna kind of snug the rings so the scope don't move. And I want you to check eye relief. I want you to pull that rifle up and tell me if it fits. I want you to pull it down, pull it up, and tell me how hard it is to find that scope. We don't do that anymore. A lot of these places are in, out. They don't care that much. They just explain to you they have a service for you. And I think that we're seeing a lot of them repercussions now in the gun world, because I've talked to a lot of people that said this gun's just not for me. And I want to know, is that gun just not for you? Is that caliber not for you? Is that scope not for you? What part of it isn't for you? And that's that's something I wish more people would look at when they were buying these rifles. They go and they read 20, 40 reviews online and they order it. Well, I've got a very, very nice Bergara HMR Wilderness behind me and 6.5 Creed I bought just to play with. Personally, I've done load data for a bunch, but personally I've never owned a Bergara. So I thought, let's try her, let's give her a run. So I'm sitting here running these groups and thinking about, or running these loads and thinking about this, but that's an amazing rifle, but you'd never convince me to take it mule deer hunting. You know, it weighs 10 pounds. It has a heavier scope on it, so probably more than that. But you'd never convince me to take that 26-inch barreled rifle and pack it over hills and down canyons and up and down. But sitting down on a shooting range or shooting prairie dogs or sitting down making sets calling coyotes, perfect rifle. It's a perfect rifle. But they call it HMR, stands for Hunt and Match Rifle. Well, I don't know what kind of hunting they plan on doing with it, because that is a heavy bugger. And I'm not bad-mouthing the rifle. That rifle shoots great. But, you know, if you were looking for a good elk rifle and it's in 300 PRC and it's sitting there, that's something you're going to want to consider. So, take everything I said and please use it or apply it. If you're planning on getting a new hunting rifle or you have one that's just not working for you, feel free to email me and I can help fix the problem. And we can exchange phone numbers or whatever, and I can touch bases with you and we can try to figure out why it's not working for you before you just offload the gun and step into the next one that doesn't work for you. You know, the evil you know is better than the evil you don't. So, it's fall. Most people are hunting. Keep your powder dry. Make your shots clean. And again, please watch and subscribe. Tell me in the comments if there's any videos you'd like to see. And let me know what you think of my videos. Thank you. Have a good day, and God bless America.